Hey guys, Derek here with another video. So this was a video that I've actually been working on for the last couple of weeks, and I guess it's kind of timely because a couple days ago, Sony announced that PlayStation 2 emulation was coming to the PlayStation 4, but nobody knows if that means just like PlayStation 2 games are coming like digitally, like you can buy PS1 games on PS Network, or if it means that disc-based emulation is going to come to the PS4. But if it's disc-based PS2 emulation coming, then I think that's going to breathe new life into the PS2 collecting. But anyways, yeah, I've been collecting for the 6th gen consoles, the DS and the Wii. Well, I guess the DS is 6th gen, but like the Wii as well, as you probably tell by a lot of my videos. So I just figured I would do another Hidden Gems video for the PlayStation 2, and I think I'll probably end up doing a few of these because there's a lot of really good games. I think like the PlayStation 2's library is like 1,800 games or something like that. So there's a lot of games, but I'm going to show some of the games in my collection that are, I guess, kind of obscure, and then some of the ones that I think are really good and just underrated. So first game up is going to be Ring of Red, and this is a, what do they call it, like alternate history, turn-based strategy RPG game. And this game, it's kind of cool. Like on the top mat, it's basically like you would expect from a strategy game. Like it kind of looks like a board game almost, in that you have your characters just like on a grid, and then you can move them around kind of like in chess or something. And once you go into battles with the enemy, it turns into kind of a 3D, I won't say action game, like a turn-based 3D, I guess, strategy game still. But like when you go to fire, like you can move forward or backwards or just stop where you're at in order to close range on an enemy or open up the range. Depending on the type of, I think they're called like AFWs, but the type of mech that you're in, a certain range is like the most optimal for them to attack. So you can move into that range and then attack the enemy. And then when like you go to attack the enemy, like a first-person mode pops up, and then like your reticle is moving all over the screen, and you gotta kind of time it right so that your scope is lined up with the enemy, and then you can take a shot. So it's a really cool game. At first I thought it was going to be like Valkyria Chronicles, but it's not. I guess it is, but it isn't. Valkyria Chronicles is more of a third-person strategy RPG game. In this game, I guess it's still kind of third-person, but just the combat mechanics of it are really different. But it's still a really cool game, and like a game that you don't really hear a lot of people talk about. So the next game up, or next two games up, are going to be shmups. So you know I love my shmups, and I don't really think it's so much of an obscure game. I don't think they're obscure games at all, but like you just don't hear people talking about the one I'm going to show next on the PlayStation 2. And this game you can buy for like $10, like complete in box, almost brand new. And it's a really cool game to play, and that's going to be Raiden 3. And like the Raiden series of games is really cool, and this one is no different. So this year I've been playing a lot of shmups because I want to get better at them, because it's definitely a skill-based genre. And like playing through this game and then the next one, I was actually kind of surprised. Like probably, I don't know when I started it, like March or April, I was really struggling with shmups. Like I used to play them in arcades and stuff, but I wasn't really the greatest at them. So I never really had the desire to go back and play them. But like playing through them, these ones now, like I was kind of amazed that I was able to get through a lot of the levels without either getting hit or dying, and I was like, holy crap, this is really cool. But anyways, like Raiden 3 is a really cool game. It's not so much bullet hell, so that's kind of cool. It's just like I said, skill-based shmup. And then the next one up is going to be part of my guilty pleasure shmup series, and that's going to be Castle Shikigami 2. So there's two Castle Shikigami games on the PlayStation 2. There's Castle Shikigami 2, which obviously is the second game in the series. And then the first game is called Mobile Light Force 2, which why they named it that, I have no idea. But Mobile Light Force 2 is the first game in the Castle Shikigami series. And these ones are kind of more so bullet hell shmups than, I guess, traditional shmup. But this one is cool because like, you can pick a character, and each character has different like shooting patterns, and then they'll also have like a primary ability or like a secondary ability if you hold down the shooting button. I forgot the name of the character that I picked, but he was the guy, the first character that you can choose. And he's got just like a cool like 3 or 4 shot spread, that he can take enemies out with. But if you hold down the fire button, he can summon I don't know, like summon a ninja or something. I don't know what she is, but she'll go and like she'll attack enemies on screen. Like as long as you have the button held down, she'll just bounce from enemy to enemy, and all you really have to focus on is avoiding bullets and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, like Castle Shikigami 3 is on the Wii, and that one has just like horrendous voice acting, which I really love because it's so bad that it's good. Um, and this one has kind of some voice acting going on, but it's in Japanese, so I guess I could go back and try and see if you can switch it to English voice acting. But yeah, the voice acting's in Japanese, so I don't really know what's happening or what they're saying. And anyways, it's really cool. Okay, the next game up is going to be Crimson Tears. This one is kind of a dungeon crawling RPG beat 'em up, like Tobal number 2 or Tobal number 1 and Urgites. It's pretty cool actually. Like the graphics in this game are really good. The fighting mechanics are really good. Like you can choose. Well, I guess yeah, you can choose from 3 characters. I say I don't know if you can choose, but yeah, right at the start of the game you can switch characters. So like there's little like RPG side where you can go explore town, talk to NPCs, go buy items and stuff that you need. And then the dungeon crawling aspect is you just make your way, like you'll get missions and stuff, and then you'll clear a level, and then like you'll look for the exit to the next level, which I forgot what they call it, like an elevator or something. And like you get on that, and it takes you down to the next floor. Um, and yeah, you just fight your way through all the different levels of whatever dungeon you're in to accomplish your goal. Like I said, the fighting mechanics though in this game are really good. You can pick up different items and stuff as you defeat enemies, pick up money, you'll gain experience points and stuff. Then you can buy different weapons to use while you're down in the dungeons fighting enemies and stuff too. So there's a lot of cool aspects to this game. And this is another one that's not really too expensive. All right, the next one up, there's like five or six games in the series now, plus a couple spin-offs. And I remember watching, I think like third or fourth one, I watched a video of it on YouTube once, and I thought it looked pretty interesting, but I never went back and did anything else with the series. But ended up running across this one at my local game store, and like the price was really cheap on it, so I was like, oh, why not? I'll give it a shot. So like looking at the back of it, it looks like it's pretty much like a GTA clone. So I kind of knew what to expect, but then I started playing it, and it was totally different experience than I thought. And like the story absolutely like sucked me in, so to the point where like I recorded I think like 30 minutes or so of gameplay, but then like I probably played through like another 3 hours or so of the actual game. That's gonna be Yakuza, and there's 2 Yakuza games on the PlayStation 2. I've got both of them, but I don't want to play the second one until I play through this one because, like I said, the story is really good. The second game, actually, I guess it got a low print run or just sales weren't that great, but it's a fairly like uncommon game, I guess. So the price on it is kind of up there, but if it's anything like this first game, I think it would be pretty worth it. So like the first thing I noticed right off the bat is this game is kind of like an RPG beat 'em up in that like you're walking around a city like you would in GTA, but then you like encounter like random battles. Like you could be walking down the street and all of a sudden like someone will run up to you and be like, hey, who are you? And then like you go through some dialogue or whatever, and depending on what you say, you can get into a fight with them. So then like this fight screen pops up with whatever game they're associated with. And if you've ever played like Tokyo Extreme Racer, it's kind of the same as that. Like you'll get into a race with someone, and then like their team logo will pop up, and so like you know who you're battling. So like this kind of follows that same thing, which I think is really cool. And then like you'll get into a fight with them, and you either beat them or you'll get beat. And then yeah, they'll respect you, I guess. And then like you can get more information out of them sometimes, or you just I don't know, maybe they'll just leave you alone. But like you'll get experience points and stuff the more fights that you fight in, and then yeah, like the fighting side of it I think is kind of secondary, but the story is actually just so freaking cool. And I won't ruin any of the story because there is a couple like right off the bat there's a couple of twists that I wasn't really expecting, which was really cool. But anyways, like, if you run across a copy of either one of the games, I would suggest picking them up. And then the PlayStation 3 games are, I think it's 3 and 4, maybe 5 on the PlayStation 3. and they are probably like $20,
So what's the deal?
$20 or so
Let
and
me
less.
in.
And I want to say it's $20
ahead.
brand new, but I haven't really looked into that too much. Okay, the next game up I had heard about in an episode of Metal Jesus Rocks pickups videos. I think it was like last week or the week before, but it was actually like Radical Reggie. If you've ever watched him on that channel, it was one of his pickups, and like I usually like watching his pickups more so because he goes after like really obscure games, and obviously I got like the same taste in games. So he talked about this one, so I looked it up, and this one's another one like Yakuza 2 that's a fairly expensive game, but so the game is Blood Will Tell. So this game is actually really cool too. This game, I guess it's kind of like it's an action beat 'em up. I guess it's the best way of actually it's an RPG too. It's like an action RPG beat 'em up again, and like the character you play is kind of like Pinocchio. So there's a baby like that was prophesized to be able to do something. I think it was like save the world. I don't remember. But the baby was prophesized to be able to do something. But there were 48 fiends, like double or demons, that didn't want this baby to come into the world with the power that it had. So they got with the dad and like coerced him into signing a contract that they would be able to take the baby and keep it from being able to kind of I guess like live its maximum potential. So when the baby was born, the 48 fiends went in and stole 48 body parts from the baby, and by the time they were done ravaging the baby, the father came in, took what was left of the baby, and ran away from the fiends, and I guess like set the baby free. So someone else ended up finding the baby, and made a lot of like he was a doctor, and he ended up just doing a lot of surgeries and stuff basically on the baby, which made him like Pinocchio essentially. Like he was a baby with a lot of wooden parts added to him, and part of those were like two samurai sword arms, which at first is kind of weird to look at, but it's pretty cool to play. And then like you can put your like prosthetic arms back on and use an actual samurai sword, so it's really cool. And then as you play through the game, like you'll come across the 48 different fiends, and as you defeat the fiends, you'll gain back a piece of your body. So like it's pretty cool. Like I'll spoil it a little bit, I guess. So like the game starts off in black and white, but the entire game isn't in black and white. It's only for the first probably like 20 or 30 minutes. So like as soon as you defeat the fiend that holds your eyes, then you can see the world as you meant to, because technically the kid is blind, but the way they present the game to you is in black and white. So when you defeat the fiend with your eyes, he starts seeing the world in color because he's actually seeing the world for the first time through his own eyes. So like that stuff is really cool, and then like the more fiends you defeat, the more human he becomes, which is pretty cool. So this is definitely a game to collect and a game to play more so than anything. So the next game up is going to be one. It used to be fairly obscure, and like now I think more people are keen to it, and like if anytime you mention obscure PS2 games, you'll hear people probably mention this one. So that's going to be Robot Alchemic Drive, also known as RAD, and it's a giant robot game, and I think it's probably the best execution. Well, it's the best idea of a giant robot game ever, but the execution, mainly the controls and the camera are just kind of terrible. But like the game itself, like if you can figure out a way to make this game playable for yourself, which for me was getting the main character on top of the robot, or like getting him far enough away from the robot that you control versus whatever you're fighting to actually be able to see what's happening, then I think the game is definitely worth playing. But yeah, like it's just trying to figure out the controls and what works for you is probably going to be the hardest thing about this game. But like I said, this game is just so freaking cool. It's a giant robot game, and graphically it looks really good. And I guess it's like Rock'em Sock'em Robot, but then for 2 of the 3 starting robots, I don't know if you end up getting more. 2 of the 3 starting robots that you get, you can transform them. It's like one will transform into a spaceship, essentially. The other one will transform into a tank. Then the first one, it says it transforms into like volcano motor, volcanic something, which essentially just like opens up its shoulder pads or whatever, and it can, I think, just shoot a lot of rockets or something. So that one didn't seem that interesting to me, so I ended up just choosing the spaceship one. But the game, if you can find it for a good price, it's definitely a game to try out and a game to keep in your collection because it's a great talking piece. But I wouldn't pay some of the crazy prices that it goes for these days. Alright, the next game up is going to be like if God Hand, Bayonetta, and Otogi, those three games had a love child. I feel like it would be this game. But this game is older than all three of those games, so I don't know. Maybe all three of those games took inspiration from this one. But Bujingai is it's a stylistic action beat 'em up game. The character in Bujingai is modeled after Gact as well, and like I don't know, like it doesn't stand out or anything, but like I just thought it was kind of interesting because like when you get to the title screen, it's like starring Gact, and it's like all right, that's cool, I guess. Anyways, like so it's a stylistic action beat 'em up, much like Bayonetta and God Hand. So like you can string together just crazy combos and get like 100 hit combos and stuff in. And then like you gain, well, I don't know if you really gain new abilities, but you just gain, I guess, better abilities. You get a little bit stronger as you like play through the game and stuff. And then a lot of the enemies obviously end up getting stronger throughout your gameplay. Yeah, like this game, it goes for like $10 or so right now, but like you really never hear anybody mention it, and I think it's actually a really good game. This is another one that graphically I think has held up very well because character motions are very good. There's the colors in this game are very vibrant. Like there's a lot of colors, and then the gameplay, like I was saying, it's really cool. There's a lot of stuff that you can do, and I don't know. I just really like this game. So yeah, I would highly suggest picking that one up. Like I said, it's cheap and not too many people know about it. So next one up is going to be an Atlas game, and there's a lot of really good Atlas games on the PlayStation 2 that I'll probably end up showing. And this one I bought because I like when weird genres, like when you have like juxtaposing genres like mixed together and stuff, and it's kind of like, in what universe would that ever happen? It's like, oh, okay, well, in this one that they just made up. So this one's going to be a samurai western, and yeah, it's a samurai in a western environment. So this one is actually really cool too. This one's a lot like God Hand, I guess, in that you like you just beat up a lot of people. And there's a lot of like crazy combos and like weird dodging and stuff that you can do, and you can just string together a lot of kills, and it's really cool. So you can end up like picking up different weapons, different stances. You can use a lot of different moves to defeat your enemies. You can destroy some of the environments. You can do a lot of like dodging, like I said, and yeah, I don't know. Like you can use your sword to hit bullets and stuff back at enemies if you're good enough with timing and stuff. But it's just a really cool game. Like the characters are all kind of quirky, and then just the fact that you're a samurai in the Wild West. Killing people is really just something to play, I guess. And then the very last game I have here is probably going to be the most obscure and I guess valuable of this first volley of games that I'm going to show. And it's going to be another FromSoft developed game published by AgeTech. And it's going to be a survival horror, which besides Echo Knight and Echo Knight Beyond, I don't really know of any other FromSoft developed survival horror games, which I guess I can look that one up too. But it's going to be Kuon, or Kuon, however you pronounce it. And this game plays a lot like Fatal Frame, except like you don't use a camera to kill enemies. You actually kill them with weapons and stuff. And it's very, very atmospheric and very creepy. So like this game, I kind of really want to do a playthrough of it because it's an easy game to get into. I think like it doesn't have tank controls. It doesn't have like a whole lot of like weird like item control that some of the Resident Evil games and stuff had. And I don't know, like the story kind of like keeps you wanting to play, and like it keeps you sucked in and keeps you wanting to move forward and see what happens next. Lots of like weird jump scares happen, and I don't know, like I really like this game, and I don't know, like it's something I wouldn't really expect from FromSoft, given what they focus on today. That they would have made a really good survival horror game, and I kind of want them to go back and make another survival horror game because this game seems like it's really cool. So like you can play. There's two, I guess, different playthroughs of it. It's one called Yin Phase, one called Yang Phase, and basically they're the only two people that are alive uh, in this manner, I guess, or in this area that the game takes place in, and yeah, you just see it from two different perspectives. So it's a really good game. Like this one, I don't really want to go too much into the story because, like, if you're starting the game, it's basically going to spoil pretty much the stuff that happens in the very first few hours. But anyways, like I said, this one, a game to look out for sure. I think, like, I was looking at VGCharts.com, and that game only had like 10,000 copies of it sold. So obviously not a large pool of games to search from if you're out there looking for it. And I think I really want to go for complete Age Tech and Atlas collection for the PS2. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this first part of PS2 Hidden Gems. I think I'm going to try to get up another one and maybe the third one by the end of next weekend. But anyways, I hope you're having a great weekend already. And yeah, anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy.